I'm gonna make a video based on these topics, but I don't have to discuss any of these. So the topic I want to discuss is about loops. It's very much like a habit, but I'm just gonna call it loops. Now, here's the thing. I want to emphasize this is a subjective subject. There's no objectivity to it. Science has objectivity. Mathematics has objectivity. Engineering has objectivity. Loops is subjective, somewhat like religion and politics. It's a little closer to that, but yeah, not gonna discuss politics. So, or religion. That is, the thing is, when a person goes through a loop, the thing is, this is what I observed throughout the years. A lot of people don't want to resort to books unless they went to school, and that's for that purpose only. So there could be other reasons, but there are many reasons why books don't appeal. But the thing is, I've noticed a lot of people they refuse to acknowledge, that what I consider the law of cause and effect. The cause and effect law is basically that there is a beginning that caused this to happen, and therefore there is a before and after. So this caused this to happen, right? Now, it's not exactly that linear. So, let's see here. This requires that someone, see, the thing is, it's not necessarily anything to do with thinking or feeling. That is something that I learned from Myers-Briggs typology, for example. But the thing is, these topics can be very personal. Some of it may be controversial, but some of them very, personal. So, like, maybe if they went to like a bar and drank alcohol or something, it would probably, it's like that. It's like if someone has a splinter for like a long time and took it off, it would probably hurt a lot. If someone's ever been wounded for, like if they went to the military, or if they had a sports injury for a long time, they had to. So that's an example. You can't erase all that time. That is, anyway. So, the problem is that, when people go through a loop, it can be difficult to see a way out of it. And this is a problem that is very subjective because there is no objective criteria. But the thing in it is very key is that a lot of people refuse to acknowledge. So, there are many effects that occur to this. But the key is that people don't see the perspectives. Let's see. Otherwise, it could be like whack-a-mole, right? Like, I just got that from a different slide for a different video. But a game of whack-a-mole, right? And let's see here. Not blaming others is a common one. If one does not blame others, which is not entirely a bad thing, it's just, one has to acknowledge that it is caused by someone else. So, like, you have to acknowledge, for example, that if you had all this, if you were carrying a bag of cash and someone stole it, you have to acknowledge, oh, someone stole it. And you also acknowledge that if you were somewhere crowded, that no one paid attention to that. That's two things. It's one thing to remember, oh, that person stole it. You have to also acknowledge, oh, no one else saw that. right? So, and then you have to acknowledge, and then this could lead to other things like, why did that other person did not saw that? Were they sleeping? Were they like not like literally sleeping, but like were they just basically zoned out, right? Were they on drugs, right? Were they just, or maybe they saw it, but they chose not to acknowledge. You have to see. You have to be able to come up with those possibilities. You know, if you can't come up with those possibilities, that could be a problem, right? What else? Let's see. But remember, this is a loop, right? The idea is to not have that loop anymore. So let's see. Because it's difficult to see perspectives, first of all, it does seem like the loop can be infinite, but that's not entirely the case. Usually with loops, like usually there's like a cause and effect to it. So the loop is caused by a person not refusing to acknowledge it. So let's say I refuse to acknowledge that the problem could be someone I trust, right? I trusted this person, and you refuse to acknowledge the possibility that you shouldn't trust that person, right? Which is the only problem is I mentioned the word person. I did not draw anything on it. A person has a face, right? I did not mention any particular examples of faces. So, you know what? I'm going to draw a face. And unfortunately, I'm terrible at drawing, so I'm going to have to, draw a con. Is that concave or is that the other word? Concave or convex? I don't know. So, a person has a nose and two eyes and a happy it just and then there's the body and the arms and then it's a stick figure. So I don't you have to acknowledge that this face is like you have to form this label, right? And the label and let's see you have to acknowledge that you can't be naive about this. Naiveness, there's a point where it's not good. Let's see. So you have to acknowledge that you have to be able to give a label here. So this is a different person than this, right? Now, regardless of what adjective you use, remember this is subjective. This like you have to acknowledge that one person is good and the other person is bad. But which one is good and which one is bad? That is, you have to be able to come up with that idea, right? Because trust is a great thing, but we're dealing with failure here. So when there is failure, there is a cause and effect, right? So for example, let's discuss schools. There's schools after 1991, 1990, 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995, and there's schools before 1990, 1991, 1999. There are differences between them. Each graduating class has a different thing, but there are different people that look different in different places. And this is my stick figure drawing of that, right? You can see that there's differences among the eyes. There's differences among the hands. Let's draw some differences. And the feet. I haven't drawn the clothes yet. So that's the point. There are differences in facial differences. There are differences in other body parts too. So that is a great exercise to do to acknowledge the law of cause and effect. And of course, there's much other laws like law of attraction, this stuff that probably didn't exist before a certain time, right? But yeah, like the thing is, We're discussing. We're not discussing religion. I prefer not to. That should be a different topic in a different video. So I'm gonna wrap this up. So if one had a bad outcome, for example, they lost all their friends, or if you know, one had a friend that is an ISTJ or a different type and lost all their friends, or if one had a bad result in life, you have to consider that you should blame yourself or blame others, or both. Actually, it might be good to have both, so that you can use the law of cause and effect.